Hello. Today I wanted to do a video all about how to keep a magic circle / ring secure. As you can see, I am making lots of hexagon motifs, and I make a magic ring for every single one of those. And when I first started making them, they weren't really secure, and they kept getting looser and looser. So I've been trying to find a way to make them more secure, and there's at least three, I believe, 3 tips to keep them secure that I've noticed has really helped. I'll show you on the lighter yarn. As you can see, this circle is very tight. When you pull on it, it doesn't go anywhere. I've tried washing one of these and it does not unravel. So I'll be showing you the 3, or maybe there's more, I don't know, but 3 tips on how to do that. And please excuse my really bad camera setup. I'm filming on my cell phone because I'm just a teenager. I don't really have any nice camera. So the first thing is get your yarn, and I should probably demonstrate on the lighter yarn actually, so I will just grab this one because you can see that, obviously. Okay, alright, so I taught myself how to make magic rings, so I don't know if this is like the conventional way to do it, but first things first is I just wrap it around my fingers, kind of like that. As you can see, the top loop is on top. So then I just put my crochet hook in and I pull this through. Now, if I can just, so as you can see, that's pretty much the very basic magic loop, and I will try and get this to focus real quick. This is the very basic magic loop. I find that this works pretty well most of the time, so I've never had any problem. So normally what people will do, in the case of my hexagon motifs, is you chain 3. And so normally you would just chain 3. So there's that. Now, I do not like this method because when you don't do what I'm going to be showing, this obviously is very loose. So what I do is before I chain anything, here's our little loop here. Oops. Kind of hard when you have limited area. Okay, so here's our magic ring. Now normally you would just start chaining, right? But what I do is I chain 1, and I'll try and get closer to the camera. I don't know if it will focus. Let me focus it. But what I do is, as you can see, you have that 1 chain. I hold this and I tighten that. I just go in and I tighten that little loop. So as you can see, there's like almost a knot. You can still pull this out and undo it. What this does is it makes your magic ring much more secure. This is pretty much one of the more important steps. So then I go on to chain 3. Okay, so as you can see, I have that tiny little loop, and then it's going to be much more secure. So then what you do is you just go ahead and add any chains or whatever you need to do and fill up your ring until you need to close it. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that off camera. Okay, so I've went ahead and I've added what I need to. In this case, because it's a hexagon, I went 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And as you can see, this is kind of hard for me to show you. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to pull this out a little bit. And as you can see, our little magic ring is kind of coming out the back, which is kind of what we want. So make sure all your stuff is flat, and then pull your magic ring nice and tight. Now what we're looking for is, I will try and get this to focus. So what we're looking for is that when we pull this part, it won't get very loose. Now in this case, it's already pretty good. I'm going to pull on it just a little bit more. I have in the past pulled so hard on this that I snapped the yarn, which obviously is not good, and you have to start over. So you don't want to pull too hard. And it's not really important that you pull this super tight because of the last step that we do. So sometimes you will pull this and you'll hear kind of like the yarn slipping through and kind of like, I don't want to say snapping into place, but kind of like it will make a tugging noise and you can hear it kind of like going through all the yarn. That's what I have found to be like kind of a good thing. However, sometimes they don't make that noise, like this one did not. So now this is where I recommend you check you have all the correct amount of stitches. You can go back and fix this after I show you the next step, but I of course would recommend you check your stitches before you secure the ring. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, I'm good to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this row. And, oops, pull this through. So hard to crochet in front of a camera. So just pull this through. Now this part's kind of irrelevant, but I would just recommend securing it. So now you're going to take your working yarn, the part that is still connected to the skein, and your dead yarn. Put these out of the way. Now I'm going to try and do this closer so you can see it. Okay, so what I do is I knot this dead yarn to one of my stitches. This makes it so if this starts loosening, it can only loosen to a point without taking this with it, and in that case, if you see that happening, you can tighten the ring and move on. So what I do is I usually put it in, let me see if I can focus this. I usually put it in the last, the first post of the double crochet that I made last. But you can really put it anywhere. You can put it here, you can put it here, it doesn't matter, but I prefer to do it close to where the ring closes. So I just stick this in, I pull this through, and I pretty much make a slip knot. So if you can see that, you just pull the yarn through, and you just pull the knot until it's nice and tight. As you can see, we're pulling on the post of the double crochet. But once you kind of settle everything into place, this knot becomes pretty much flat. You can't really see it. So you could cut it off right there, but what can happen is if you cut it off right there and this starts unraveling, you're not going to really have enough yarn to pull it to make it tighter. So what I do is I cut off about half of this, and then I start crocheting normally like I was going to do anyways. So I'll just start crocheting here. So you just start crocheting like normal, but you're going to tuck in the tail along this with this. So you put your first stitch in, and this tail from the bottom, you just put it over your yarn and you start working it in. You're pretty much weaving in the ends. And what this does is, if, let's pull this out, if for whatever reason this starts to loosen up, you can always find this string and tighten it. And because we're not cutting it or gluing it or anything like that, we can just, you know, pull it out. You can even just take this completely out if you need to, but you can always double knot this again, whatever, and then you just have a little backup, pretty much. And that's pretty much what I do, and I kind of learned through trial and error. So originally I didn't even tie a knot. I would just close the magic ring and then weave it in, which is fine because then you can again tighten it if you need to. but the knot really keeps it secure, and that way, no matter what, you are going to have a nice tight magic circle, even if you wash it and stuff. And I don't really find too many things about keeping these secure, so I figured I would just try and share my methods for this. So hope this helps. I might try and re-record this when I have a better camera or setup, but I hope this helps somebody out there. So thanks for watching.